At the end of the tally on Saturday, September 19, the winner and losers in the Edo State governorship election would have probably emerged, and calmness may gradually return to the state if the INEC handles the poll the way it should be, and the process is not marred by violence and precipitated crisis. The clear winner of the election would definitely be between the incumbent Godwin Obaseki and his strong opponent Obaseki and Ize-Iyamu, while others on the ballot are more of appendage and pretenders, as they may be merely participating in the election for relevance and perhaps prestige. From the analysis, the battle for the souls of the state has not been an easy one between the frontrunners, who are also major contenders in the last election held in 2016 from different political parties against the platform they are now deploying. The irony of this year's election was that both Obaseki and Ize-Iyamu have switched platforms. The contest between the two candidates has turned the politics of Edo upside down, with the realignment of previously sworn enemies and foes on both sides of the divide. Allegations of one party planning rigging against the other keep flying around from the two camps, while the threat of violence and real violence has been dominant part of the campaign by the two main parties since electioneering was declared open by the umpire. The rating of the two main contenders of equal proportion, and this to make the prediction of where the pendulum will swing this Saturday a tough call. Both have the advantage of the incumbency factors in their favor. One as the sitting governor who controls the treasury of the state and wields some influence of some sort, while the other with the full backing of the federal and perhaps the natural treasury too behind him. Also, both are not new to the contest for the governorship position, having fully participated 4 years ago, together with the margin of defeat then very narrow in favor of the incumbent at the time. Political analysts say that Obaseki's victory at the last election was more as a result of the influence of his party then, APC, which deployed the opportunity of being in power for both state and federal into good use. Ize-Iyamu, who has been described as a grassroots politician, lost narrowly to Obaseki due to the incumbency factor and the strong negative sentiment whipped up against him by the then governor Adams. Today, the table has turned full circle. Now, Oshimole has joined forces with Ize-Iyamu, but unlike the previous election, he is no longer in power as governor and has even lost his crown as the party national chairman to intrigues heralding the Edo election. Analysts say the odds could favor Obaseki in the sense that he could garner some sympathy votes from some elements in the state who may have felt that he was unjustly denied the APC ticket because of his disagreements with his former godfather. They have equally argued that his management of the House of Assembly crisis and the mass resignation of some political office holders in his cabinet at the last minutes to the election could also work against him. However, a win by Obaseki at the end of Saturday's ballot will mean the political end of a Shomale in the state. Same goes for a win by Ize-Iyamu will equally mean the end of the road for Obaseki and the return to reckoning by the immediate past APC national chairman. The unfortunate thing about these two main contenders in the election is that both are subtly and heavily relying on the use of violence and rigging to win, and not the votes of the Edo people to win the election. Information filtering from the state shows that arms have been deployed by both parties among some youths as part of their counterforce to help sway the election in their favor. Ordinarily, the election would have been a straight fight for the incumbent had he maintained peace and cordiality with his former godfather, Oshimole, because of the fact that the PDP in the state was in comatose until the entry of Obaseki after he was denied. But with his battle of attrition to decimate his political godfather and his decamping to the opposition party, the two leading parties have been strengthened by the battle for supremacy to fight the battle headlong. Whatever happens at the end of Saturday's election, could be a pointer to the direction of alignment towards the 2023 general election. It is obvious that the two main political parties will want to outdo themselves in the race to win the state, to further consolidate their positions ahead of the general election in 2023. What do you think? Let us know in the comment section. Stay tuned with GFD Media for more news analysis.